Okay, guys, pretty long list for Friday, longer than I'm comfortable with, so I'm going to try to rip through it real quick here. All right, JD, this is just based on, for one, it's sold off from 33 all the way down to 28. And I think Alibaba coming public, I think next Friday? I'm pretty sure. I think Chinese internet stocks might get a run before that, especially the ones that have sold off more than you thought they would. So I'm looking for a decent bounce now. And it may start, well, it really started today in JD, but I look for it to continue. So I'm going to watch that for a proper long setup on an intraday basis on Friday. E-Trade, ETFC, I still like this one up over this trend line. ISNS, and this whole space, anything to do with police body cameras and anything to prove what happened when it's up to a cop's word versus a person's word. That whole space, I think, is getting ready to have another leg. I just did a Google search for police cameras, and if you follow me on Twitter at all, I posted like six links or so into news stories just today of different localities, different municipalities considering or already have ordered police body cameras for their police departments. So this theme isn't going away. I think in the next year or two, every cop in the United States is going to be wearing body cameras. So anything in this space, I look for a second wave after this selling subsides. And you couple that with Ferguson is going to, pretty soon you'll start hearing about, the trial starting and all that or whatever. So it's going to be, there'll be another wave on these, and these are starting to get very interesting. So ISNS, DGLY is the big camera one. Actually, Taser does body cameras too. You've seen GoPro. I'm not calling this one now. They're all extended, but the pullback in some of these, and my favorites are kind of the secondary plays like ISNS and VII. So I want to watch those because they've really come back down, and I think this whole thing's going to start hitting the news again. And they're very low float, so a lot of shorts, or a lot of people try to short them when they run, and as low as the float is, shorts can get trampled when this group gets going. So I've got all these on watch. I've actually started a swing trade in VII. Didn't add any today, but I do have a 352 average, and we'll see if I get any more selling tomorrow. I'll be adding again. All right, so that whole space, CSUN, I like this little flag here after breaking out. It's got nice support below it. I mean, it's been a long time between 3 and 325, a long time. So a lot of support below. This is a low float, high short position stock. It's a solar. So if that solar space gets going, let that click in your brain and say, I better check CSUN. Because I think this one could break over this flag. It might need to consolidate another few days. I don't know. But if the solar space gets going, look to this one, because up over these recent highs here, I think it could challenge and probably rip through this 4. And if we can get an entry, in the 360s, and we start to see volume coming in up to and through 4, could be a very nice percentage gain. So keep CSUN on a chart. Love the low float and high short idea behind it, especially if solars get moving. CAMT, don't love this one, but I want to watch it if it gets back down to this low. CAMT makes nice moves at times, but I don't love that one. GIGA, this one's kind of interesting. Had this huge move from 2 to over 3 in one day, and now you're back down a few days. Kind of found equilibrium today, kind of closing where it opened. So I want to watch that one for a turn back higher. That's GIGA. VNET, don't know anything about why this is getting killed, but I do want to watch that for a potential bounce. Whenever I play something like that, though, I make sure I've got a low-risk intraday setup, okay? So odds are I won't play VNET tomorrow, but with a proper setup, we could get a nice trade in it. OTIV gapped up and ran to 5, ended up closing at its lows on Wednesday. Sold off most of the day today, too, but came close to the 8-day moving average. So this one, I'm starting to get interested in a bounce on OTIV. XOMA, I actually like this chart a lot. Let me get a drawing tool going for this one. You can see here this $5 area was resistance back here, and then you had this spike here on decent volume that took you up to here, right? And then another decent volume day today, almost to that high. So we have what we call stacked catalysts, meaning if it breaks Thursday's high, that's today, I'm making this video Thursday night, so if it gets to 486 tomorrow, that's a break of today's high. I think that should push you right through the high of this last spike that it had about a week ago. So that's 492 would be the next catalyst. 486, 492, and then maybe a push through this 5, and you could start a big breakout. So this is a pretty handsome chart here. Keep your eyes on XOMA. SGOC, don't love this one either, but it's interesting because you moved from, like, I don't know, 209, 207, up through 3, all the way back down to 207 area again, and then rips through 4, went all the way to 4 something, 434, and now it's working its way all the way back down. So if I shorted this anywhere in here, that's where I'm certainly going to start thinking, okay, I'm done, and look to cover. I think you get a nice bounce off the 210-ish area. I do have an alert on my trading platform if this gets below 215 to start looking for a possible setup. That's SGOC. Best Buy, this one's not too bad of a setup. You had this huge gap down here, and then now you're really kind of in a tight flag, and I think there's a lot of shorts in Best Buy. So if we get up over these recent highs, this one could break out, so keep BBY on watch. And then my last one is a long list, FUEL. Pretty ugly chart here, but something happened today. In the very last 5 minutes, traded over 500,000 shares, went all the way to 1850 something before settling at 1647, and then it looks like in after hours it closed out at 1685. So there's 60-minute candles, and this one could have a big day in it. So I want to watch that. I don't know what the reason for the spike was, but with a proper intraday setup, I'll be looking to call a trade in the chat room in that one. And you know what? That's enough of a list right now. We will talk to you guys tomorrow night. Have a good night.